Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 21st of June 2013. In today's news, we have 5.4 world changes, just a few of them. The Midsummer Fire Festival starts today, some of the patch 5.4 PTR notes, and blue posts. All in all, it's not a giant amount, unfortunately, but we do have some things to talk about. So the first thing is the 5.4 world changes. So there have been slight changes to Orgrimmar and Razor Hill. Pretty much, there's quite a few more troops in both places. Garrosh has done a runner and is nowhere to be found, and Vol'jin and Bane are having a chat. What any of this means? Hell, I know, because we have no context to any of the stuff really. I'm just going to assume they're getting things closer and closer to the point where it will be, like the raid is going to be there. So yeah, that should be good. Now also the Midsummer Fire Festival started today. It runs from the 21st of June to the 5th of July. I've done a guide video, it's up on my channel, and I will throw a link somewhere in this video to it. And yes, the next thing we have is the patch 5.4 PTR Notes. So there are quite a lot of class changes, and I'm not going to cover these because it would take an inordinate amount of time, and it doesn't really appeal to everybody, obviously. So I'll throw them up on the screen and you can pause the video if you want to have a look. Now for the general things, sigils of power and wisdom will now drop from Throne of Thunder, and players can't get excess sigils. Yes, sigils. So essentially what this does is it means the really tier, I believe tier 12, 13, whatever, 5.0 LFR is pretty much significantly reduced in its importance. They just want to get you through that straight onto Throne of Thunder, and then of course straight into the tier 16 raids, which is fair enough, I think. So yeah, there's not really much to talk about. I think it's a pretty good change. Of course, the items that you get as a reward for your sigils of power and wisdom aren't usable. That's the Sha touched gems. They're not usable in any of the other gear. So it's not like they're really that important. It's more just to get people through the legendary quest line as quick as possible. Now there's been some pet battle changes. The round timer now gets shorter and shorter for players who spend more than 15 seconds a turn. This is pretty much just to up the pace of the game, because there were some players who were making it take pretty much so long that it just wasn't fun to people, and I think that's definitely a pretty fair change. They've also changed the Throne of Thunder battle pets, so they can now drop from bonus rolls, which is pretty good. And Trihorn Charge has now had its damage reduced by 11.5% and has a 1 round cooldown. I'm sure that means a lot to all of you. And next we have PvP. So for testing purposes, the PvP item level cap is now 512, and the Season 14 gear does not count towards the cap. Of course, they did say earlier in a blue tweet that the Season 14 gear wouldn't count towards the initial cap. The way they're doing it is the cap starts off, let's just hypothetically say it starts at 500, and eventually over maybe 10 weeks it'll end up being 522, but the new gear will always have that 522 cap, which I think is a pretty good way of doing it, rewards the PvPers. Now for Arena, they've added quite an interesting feature. Of course, it's more to solve a sort of outlying problem. So the new system is for matches that last over 15 minutes. Now one team will get a buff called The Crowd Chooses You. This increases damage, creates stealth detection, and reduces damage taken. So the factors that affect whether this, what team gets it, is the team with the most players alive and the team that has brought the opponent closer to death, like the opponent players. So pretty much this is just if people are trying to hide, do ridiculous stealth. Pretty much it sort of beats teams that are trying to cheese. And I think that's pretty good and interesting. Now they also said that they have changed the arena scaling for rating in 2v2, so it's not the same as 3v3. Honestly, I don't know what that means specifically, so I can't really comment too much on it. But having everything unified's nearly always a good thing. Now for blue posts, there's not really much of interest, but I'll cover them anyway. So they said about the lore of casting while moving that strong spells apparently require loads of focus from your character, so that's why you can't do them while running, right? But I don't think anything will happen, like to change gameplay to cater to lore. They've never done that, they've always done the opposite, so I think that's definitely a pretty good philosophy of doing things. He also said a whole bunch of class things for Paladins and Warlocks. So just to summarise, of course the stuff will be up on the screen, there are incoming changes to Kil'jaeden's Cunning. That's been the sort of big controversy of the last week or two. The Paladin's Eternal Flame has been overrepresented, so will probably be tweaked down, and they seem to be messing around with Sacred Shield. I'm not really sure exactly what, but Paladins, you can have a read and find out for yourself. So that's it for today. This is probably one of the shortest dailies in terms of raw news in a little while. All in all, we just need to wait for the real beef of the PTR to come out, for them to start showing us Proving Grounds, to show us raids. Right now we're just getting some background tweaks, settings, that kind of thing. Really nothing of interest, or specific important interest. So definitely the show will sort of hot up over the next few weeks with the interesting news. So that's it for today's show. Sorry if it was a little bit sort of shit. I'm kind of, I don't know, I feel randomly out of it today, but whatever. Thanks for watching. Please like if you like, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you tomorrow probably for another video. Later.